I don't have agenda. Jules, you got the agenda.
Got
Well, I guess I'll be here. I'll be here at online.
Whoa, first practice. It's an easy group.
Okay, I'll take roll call then. Michelle Dropnik. I understand she's remote.
She's online.
Okay,
You did hold on. Michelle, you did
Can you hear me or no?
Okay, yep, we can hear you.
there we go. Jeff Hallstrand.
Okay.
Jason Hastings. Jordan Spacek. I'm
Here.
sorry. Go. And Patricia Steffen.
Here.
Alrighty.
Thank you. Okay, public comments and communication. Do we have anything? For the good of the order? Nothing? Minutes from our June 11th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 11th meeting, or, yeah, June 11th.
Have a motion by Jordan,
I'll second.
second by Michelle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Vouchers were attached to your packet. Michelle, hopefully you got to see them down in sunny Illinois.
Well, I'm not in Illinois yet, but yes, I've seen them.
Okay, good.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers.
Okay, I have a motion from Jordan,
I'll second. I'll second again.
second from Patty. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, I guess we're setting the meeting dates ahead of time. Are we gonna need an October meeting, Joel? Josh?
I think that depends on if we're gonna do anything with the tax deed parcel or not.
So let's just pick one and we'll pick a meeting date, and if we don't need it, we'll cancel it. How's that sound?
Yep.
So October 8th is available. October 10th,
Eighth would work for me.
Let's do the 8th. Yep,
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
And I don't know if I can make that because of harvest, but we'll see.
You'll be done.
Fine.
All right. Buildings and grounds, Josh.
All right, since we had our last meeting, I guess, the new admin office here at the courthouse, that's complete now. We also, it's been a lot of remodeling projects for offices, still going on this summer. So over at the normal building, we got corporate counsel moved. We did some minor remodeling, new furniture to get her into a new office, and a lot of furniture updates. We had furniture ordered for the new VA office over there also. So the new VA office is finally completely complete at the normal building. Right now we're working on remodeling putting a new office in the ADRC area there. They needed extra office space. We were able to work that around, and that's what we're working on right now. Redoing some walls and doors and whatnot. So that's the main project going on right now. Boiler project, that's underway. Last week they removed the old boilers out of the normal building. New ones are in place. They just got to do the piping, and that's going to be the next few weeks here. And parking lot project, which was 2 months ago. Top coat's supposed to be going in today through Wednesday, is what we were told last. But again,
Well, we were told last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
yeah.
and now
2 months ago.
yeah,
So
we'll get there.
so, yeah, so I'm still not holding my breath on that, but that's looking closer than
You would have fainted
before.
by now.
So yeah,
My understanding is the plant's leaving on Friday, so they're doing extra this week to make sure everything's done. One thing with this parking lot here at the courthouse, as you may have noticed, we moved the entrance down, I think it's 16 feet. So when you enter the west side entrance part of the parking lot, now it's a straight shot to the right along the shop and to the alleyway. So it makes a big T rather than you come in, you have to turn left and then go down towards the alley. And we did that for the delivery trucks and garbage truck because it was
Correct.
snaking around. It did actually add, I think, 4 spaces by the time we moved it because you can line up a little different.
It just made a little more sense, the location of it, just moving it that little bit.
We had to do curb and gutter anyways there, so they changed it.
Super. Is our charging station all fired up over there? And
The 11th.
11th.
So they will be Excel Energy will be here on the 11th to put the transformer in. And then that afternoon, Bay Aerial Transit will be here to turn it on.
Beautiful. The normal building you said was when? Right after this one?
This week, same
This-
time.
This
Yeah,
week?
they're both scheduled for Monday through Wednesday.
Friends of Fred Smith, do we do that one?
That they're supposed to be doing it in the same time frame, but
They'll do it.
Okay.
I mean, it's ready to go. As soon as the equipment's here in town, that's what Roger had communicated with me from American Asphalt.
Okay.
like I said, schedules keep getting changed depending on
Beautiful
American
week for it
Asphalt.
this week.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful week for them to do all their other projects throughout the state too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the plant is here, it's here.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, I think you kind of gave us a department update.
Yeah, still fully staffed. All PMs and inspections are up to date for the year, so everything's running smooth right now.
Beautiful.
Just waiting on snow, right?
I'm already looking at ordering salt, so yeah, unfortunately.
Financial, do we have your vouchers in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the vouchers at the beginning.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Keep that snow away as long as you can. Forestry and parks. We'll get to the hot topic right off the get-go here. So Town of Flambeau tax deed parcel. We are in possession of this property now, from my understanding. And now we have to make a decision as to,
Yeah. So I'll give kind of how we got here, and then Joe can kind of explain why it would be useful for forestry to obtain this project. So the Joswick's property, there was 2 sections that were taken on tax deed through the tax deed process. There's about $9,000 owed between the 2 of them in taxes. The state has put in new laws on how these properties can be disposed of or kept. So in the past, we could have just kept it, moved on, end of the day. We're not 100% sure on what the laws will end up being interpreted as, but as of right now, we know we would have to get an appraisal, and then we know we would have to pay the appraised price to obtain the property. The past owners would receive the proceeds beyond any taxes and or fees that we incurred. So throughout this, what we consider our fees or costs would be my time, Evan's time, Joe's time, Lynn's time. Anytime we work on this parcel, whether it's a legal call or Joe looking into the stewardship grant or whatever it might be, we count that towards it. It's about 4% is what we figured in the past, but we do make sure we're in the ballpark before we just slap a 4% fee on it. Anything that went in the newspaper, anything that went to the courts, anything like that would go on top of that past due taxes. The remainder then would go to the state or the past owner for them to keep. Now, we're bringing this forward again. Joe can talk about why this would work well for us. However, what we don't know how to interpret the law right now is who gets the first shot at it. So if we get an appraisal and we wanted to keep it, I don't believe we have to go to auction. However, if past family members come forward or in this case, it'd be next of kin because the individual passed away during this time. If next of kin comes forward and says, we want this property back, we'll pay the $10,000 of back taxes, give it back to us. Under the new rules, we know that that's acceptable up to the court date now. In the past, it wasn't. It was once we hit a certain date, even though we didn't go to court, no one could come back and get that. It would automatically go to court and go through the distribution process. So that's one area we do have to check on. We have received several calls from the sister of the Joswick's property saying we're interested in it. I can't believe it was lost. That is what it is. So that's where the county stands. And I guess, Jody, wanted to talk about why this is something we want to consider if we have, say, first right.
I just supplied the couple of maps here, photos. Typically, we don't look at adding property to county land. A spot like this, it does give public access to a landlocked property on the river. That is the nice thing about this one. It gives us access and gives public access, I guess, both ways. So the property itself, I did go walk it, and it's the total, it's 134 acres. About almost 100 of it is high ground. There's a small lake on the property. It also butts up against the river.
So the wood that's on there, Joe, is pretty decent wood, or has it been cut off?
Little combination of both. They had a couple times, it looks like, in there where they cut, and there's some aspen that's ready to go. There's some pine in there that's ready to go. I figured a timber sale would be around a $80,000 value, somewhere in there. Fair market on the property right now is $227,000.
And this would not go into our normal cutting. This is outside of your plan, right? So like we could go harvest if we wanted to day one.
Sure. And I don't know the restrictions, I guess, on if the county was, we're looking to buying, there is opportunities for, there's a CAN grant that pays basically half the price that you can look into doing as well. And then I don't know if that would put restrictions on that. I know part of that, then it has to be enrolled into county forestry.
So I guess the big question that I see here is the rules of the game are not clear enough to where we believe it's our property now because we.
Yes, it is our property.
But it isn't if the family can come forward with $10,000 and pay the back taxes and penalty and still get it.
Yeah, we don't believe that the family could come today and just say, here's a $10,000 check, because we did take it in court. Before court, that could have happened, right? They could have come up and said, here, we want this back. What the question is do we have to auction it or not? So if we don't, we could say as a county, cool, pay the fair market value, we're done, it doesn't go to auction. If it does go to auction, here's you would have to have money available, but the sister could come forward and say, cool, this is going to auction, have the bank lined up, you have to have the money within 10 days. So auction starts, bidding starts at 200, she goes 200, Jeff, you bid 220, sister goes 240, the family could go up to $1 million and they would get all of it back. Like, so that's where like the rule of, can it just go back to the family? Because in the end, as long as they can produce the cash for, it's about 30 days, it's guaranteed yours because you get all the money back minus the fees and the because
All
you're.
right,
the
so I
next-
misunderstood what you originally said. I thought you were saying that
We
the
don't
family-
know. Yeah,
The
we don't.
family could pay the 10,000 yet and still get it back, but if
That's
it doesn't
blurry.
have to go to auction, it's ours for fair market value, and the family gets everything above and beyond the 10,000 that's owed.
That's how we're interpreting it currently. Yes.
So this thing, where does this all sit at?
September 23rd, we are supposed to have a final guidance document on how to handle properties. So we're hoping by the end of the month, we will know what the steps should be taken by the county. I know once, like we went to court last Tuesday or Thursday to get the last, this year's properties. I think we had 5 or 6. Those under the new rule says we have 210 days, in the future will be 180 days to dispose of it. These ones were taken before the Supreme Court did their new ruling. So we have, this one's grandfathered into a longer timeline of, hey, we have to figure it out. But we now know we have a set of properties that have to have 180 days to do something with, whether we buy it or dispose it or somebody comes back. Really, this meeting's to discuss, is this even something you want Joe to pursue or the county to pursue? If it is us that have the first opportunity at it. If not, we'll just put it at auction or work with the family depending on the rules. We have an easement across it currently, right? Not this chunk, the other chunk. There's another chunk that the Joswick's family did end up still maintaining it, that on the north side of the lake. We cross the neighbors actually, don't we? Yeah. So the Dave, I think his name's Dave. Dave's property. So we have an easement to access for if we need, but the discussion is, what do you want to do with connecting a chunk or not for the county?
Patty, you had a question?
And mine is, you said there's a small lake on the property.
Correct.
Is that something, as soon as we acquire that land, then people are gonna want a lake and a beach and a,
No,
Who
it's
knows what-
like a pond. It'll give access, public access to that area, but it's not large.
are there fish in it? Fish?
Assuming it's water, yeah.
Yeah, I would assume there is.
Okay.
I can try to bring it up too.
I'm just wondering what the public is going to want, like, oh, we need a dock now so we can do whatever.
I've already received calls on, can I hunt on here? Because it's public land.
Okay.
I guess that would be a concern down the road is, do we have to make public access to it now if it's a county? We don't own the whole thing, so we only
Well,
own.
I believe we have other water areas that we don't have full access to.
I think
mean,
so,
it would
too.
fall into that category.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got, what,
Rustic access.
some thousand acres across the county. I mean, there's gotta
Yeah.
be other little waterways that
Right.
don't
I
have a
think
road or.
my
a
personal
dock.
feeling is that it would be a nice chunk for the county to have. If it has to go to auction, I don't believe that the county should be in the business of bidding against the public on an auction. If it's ours, it's ours. It went through the same process everything else does.
I agree. Like I said, the access points would be great to get to the other chunks, because I'm looking at this and I'm guessing it's probably around 110 acres that are beyond it that we have a easement to right now, where this would give us access to that. So, but I don't think we need to be spending a pile of money on a piece of land that's,
Pulling it out of the tax roll,
yeah,
basically.
exactly, yeah.
And at one point in time, I think when I first got on here, somebody told me that when the county adds a chunk of property, we look at if there's a piece somewheres that we can sell to keep our balance.
At one time, there was a ordinance but that was rescinded a
Okay,
long time ago, yeah.
all right, so we can add then.
Total, right now, the town receives $261 in taxes a year with acreage share. That's any county forest land, the town gets 63 cents an acre, so they get 84.78. So the town would be looking at
170.
$180, 75 a year loss, yeah,
But the school would be in the same boat and
sure.
Yeah, no one would
yes.
lose because it would just be redistributed to the other taxpayers in that municipality.
Wow,
So
right.
it's not like the school loses or the municipality loses 85, but it's just redistributed in a different way to gain access.
I do believe when there's chunks like this that give us, uneasemented access into our property, we should pursue them to a degree. But if we gotta go into public auction and start bidding against Joe Public, then I wouldn't agree on that, but.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, I mean, it becomes the fact you said the fair market value is 227,000. I mean, that's a big chunk to drop on it just to gain access that we already have an easement to,
Right.
Because you estimated what a timber sale would be roughly 80 grand off of it on a first cut.
Yes, the actual, it's 227.9 is the fair market. Yeah, timber value, that's approximate value.
Yeah.
Be around 81,000 is what
Sure.
what I figured. And then, like I said, if you went towards the grant, you'd be paying half. So that's the only reason we bring this one up is just because it gives public access to another chunk. Otherwise,
Yep.
a lot of these we
Right.
wouldn't look at.
Zoom out. Where is this actually located? Like,
If you look on this, it's
This Highway 13 right here, I believe.
yeah, like where
north of Lugerville.
north of Lugerville. Okay.
Yeah.
Lugerville.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I got you. Okay, I got you now.
So is this kind of back in where the snowmobile trail goes through, where the Lugerville Chasers has their warming hut, or
That's south of there.
that's south of there a little bit?
Yeah.
So I don't know if do we need a motion to Nick and Joe, you just keep your eyes peeled on what happens the 23rd?
I don't think we need a motion yet. I think we wanted to bring this forward to say, should we prepare? Like if everybody says, yep, keep moving, watching, get ready for the grant. Once we know the rules, we'll bring that back to the
Yeah,
group.
I think we'll know more at the October 11th or 8th meeting, so. But I see the usefulness to it. Unless we have to go to auction and buy it, then I think we let Joe Public buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing was just we don't know the order of operations. If we can purchase it now, like I said, we've had the neighbor and the family contacting us about how they want this back. So that's going to be your other public perception issue is, hey, we're not even we took it on tax deeds, failure to pay the county. We paid fair market. The family got their fair market, but we took that property. So
Yeah, and that's
Like we do every
that's-
other.
Yeah.
yeah, but this one we have people coming but asking for. Where normally it's
But we're following the same process we follow forever. Past practice, it has not changed.
I agree.
So, okay, any other
I-
discussion on this item?
If they wanted it that bad, they should have known something was going
Yeah,
on.
they
I
gave me a
guess.
story.
Sure.
Yeah.
Share it.
No.
Everybody's got one. So
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to Solberg Lake Campground expansion update. Joe?
So right now, still working on permits, on the ATV trail end of things. The wetland fill permit is, those are always interesting. You send them in and it's 30-day wait, to hear, DNR has 30 days to comment on it. On the 30th day was a Saturday. We did get a thing back that said that we needed more information on there. Just a general fill permit, but they wanted more information, and we'll have to call the person because their recommendation was to keep the ATV trail in its same place, and it's a new ATV trail, so I don't think that person really looked over the permit too much. So we gotta talk to them with the DNR and get that straightened away. Stormwater permit for the campground is being worked on. They'll have to do some boring samples for that. Sounds like maybe this week they're gonna do that. So But we need those two completed in order to do any real dirt work out on the site, and get bids out and that kind of thing. So did start ordering stuff or getting prices on things, play equipment and pit toilets. We ordered some of the table frames, fire rings, benches. The electrical plan is in the works. Septic plan has been completed. Docks, fishing piers are ordered. So
Okay. Patty had a question here.
Okay. My family's, the Dunbars have been using the pavilion for 25 years. And we used the new one this June. And so now that we had practical use, everyone had questions. First of all, it's a beautiful facility, and the trim, the rock around the edging, it's just gorgeous. And the electrical on both sides, we used that. We bring out a big screen TV and do the old time video thing off the laptop or whatever. So we use the whole 9 yards. Couple things. Because we use the whole 9 yards, we use every single table that's out there. Did some of the fish tables get removed from
What do you want to know?
the, Did some-
19.7.
did some of the fish tables get moved to other parts? Because we seem to have, we were short, like where are we going to put this? Where are we going to put that? So we had a question on the number of fish tables, if maybe some of them got moved somewhere. The electrical was perfect. We were looking for we do, 9 crock pots and the TV and everything out there. It was a windy day. Like I said, we set stuff up, and some of our stuff did get knocked over. We had a big glass flower vase full of water, so it was substantially had weight to it, got knocked over and broken. So we don't know how strong that wind was, but everyone was looking at me saying, what are those retractable walls like they have at the pavilion in the city pavilion? And I know they're super expensive. I just thought I'd ask because they wanted to know if it's really windy, for on and off for other people too, what would we be able to do to provide some windbreak? Also down by the landing, the new pretty landing, there is a patch that has no trees in it because trees are a windbreak too. So we didn't know if some trees could be put there or if they were not there or knocked down or for building or whatever. So the fish tables, the retractable walls, and we talked about this before. Are we able to put an ice machine out there at all? So those are my practical usage, been there, done that, doing it, questions.
So the fish tables, there's probably a couple less than what there was in the other one. We could probably add some. Windbreaks, we did look at that a little bit. There is quite a bit of cost to that. That's something we can look at more, but just adds cost. The area you're talking about for the trees, that's the snowmobile trail going straight off the end, and that's where the snowmobile trail will now access the lake, so they're off the boat landing. So then basically then we don't get that. The goal is to not get the frost driven into the boat landing, and then that'll raise our pad and then shoot it back up. So the goal is to keep them there and keep trucks off of it, just to try to make that boat landing last as long as possible. So that one spot there, and I think some trees along the lake there will grow in too, and that'll help with the windbreak. even straight ahead of the pavilion there. So, there is that. But, as far as ice machine, I did look at that at one time, and I don't remember what the cost
It was very expensive. Joe and I
It
both
was-
looked at it.
yeah,
It was
it was-
in the tune of, I want to say, 10 grand-ish.
Yeah,
know?
it was.
And I know, like, I mean, it'd be tough to have someone out there to, sure, you can get a machine from one of the ice people and maybe put it in the caretaker's site, but who knows that the caretaker's there wants that headache. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
That would be a very positive thing for a private business around the lake to put
oh, yeah.
a ice machine by their place of business too. Opportunity.
Yeah, I would think we would want to leave that to a private individual, you know.
Well, they've got those machines that they set up there, but the odds of having someone come and be willing to do that, I doubt. I don't know that it would happen. I'm half the places in town. I know John Carlson used to have ice here, and he didn't sell enough at selling 25 bags a week for the people to think it was worth it, him having it. So they pulled his machine out. And I know Ruth Ann at Totem Pole, she lost her ice thing from the one place, and she ended up having to find another company. So it's ice is a melting issue.
Okay.
All right, well, Joel, you'll shoot us some type of price on a windbreak there, I guess would be, and look at the fish table ordeal.
One thing, I was out there last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, I should say, that we really need to do some major work on that handicap pier on the Sunset Trail there. It's in very rough shape. And like the approach has got quite the chuck hole in it, like ankle twisting. I don't know if you've been out there lately.
Again.
Yeah, I mean, it needs probably 2 good 5-gallon buckets of some hot mix to
Just a plate would be better
or even
off.
a plate. Yeah, it would be better. But no, one thing I know, like having younger children fishing, that top rail is very high. It's right at the wrong spot for children to cast off of there and be able to reel.
There's
you know?
regulations on that, though. It's gotta
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
42 inches, I
42.
think.
Is
Yeah.
that what it's got to be? I didn't know with being handicapped if it could be lower. You know?
Gotta bring your buckets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the last thing I want to do is put a kid on a bucket there. He already had a concussion out there the last time we were out there.
Okay,
Thanks.
nothing else for Solberg? I hear,
No,
I hear compliments all the time about the.
No,
pavilion.
it's doing great. Lori's got it super clean. I just still wonder if, I know you've done a lot of work, and a lot of work has gone into it. If 40 sites is too many for across the road. And it's my only fear is we're going to have a lot of open sites. I know Lori said that she thinks it'll help with side by side people coming to the area, but I hate to see it sit too vacant, you know? I mean,
There will be some.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, you try it and it's like, oh shoot. And you know, I mean, but if you put 20 in and 20 are full every weekend, you're like, oh, why didn't we stick to the 40? And
Right.
you know, and then we put 40 in and only 20 are full. And it's like, maybe we should only done 20. You know, I don't know.
Well, and with this, with the chamber and this Enjoy Price County thing, they're really gonna be promoting Price County and our UTV, ATV trails and.
Well, and I think that's something we need to work on too with our forestry land, is trying to get trails expanded more and more that we can. You know, it's recreation is like that with UTVs and ATVs is a huge thing. And it's the more trails and stuff you can put in that get them off the road, the better. So,
Mr. Chair, can I make just a quick comment?
Absolutely.
I had some people call me about the reservation system. Their concern is that the out of towners are going to book the weekends and the rest of the week is going to be vacant. So we're actually going to go backwards in revenue. Just a concern. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, there's pluses and negatives of doing it both ways. That's for sure. I would say overall, it's not like there's a couple weeks where we're busy during the week. You know, I would say that's the case all year long. You know, if you look at when we actually get booked out, that's, you know, people call about midweek, and that's been the case for ever. Is, you know, park's not completely full all the time. You know, there's only or only certain times that the park's full, so.
Well, I think
And I-
these individuals are also concerned about prime locations.
Well, and so correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but in this reservation system, we have the ability to set up all different types of parameters. If we want to say, if you're only booking a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're gonna charge you $35 a night. If you book the whole week, it's 25, or, I mean, we can do it,
It's called dynamic pricing. So
Right.
and then we talked about not making every site reservable.
Yes,
So some of the prime ones will be first come, first serve, and some will be online, and it's
and the other thing that I think
access.
Jordan brought this up, that the people up at his favorite park up north in Saxon Harbor, they have it set up where you can set it up by zip code, and we say the 4 surrounding zip codes get
First
1
dibs.
week early to book their stuff at the beginning of the year. It opens up to the local zip codes first, and if you want to throw your credit card out there and take a chance that you're camping.
I think
Labor Day
one
weekend.
of the things we talked about early on too, the one of the purposes of the park is to bring individuals to the area. And if I'm coming from Milwaukee, Madison, La Crosse, I'm not dragging all my stuff up here to show up to a full park. So there's an advantage there to having your reservation. Now you're bringing people from out of town that don't have other links to the area. Yeah, you could have a family member up here and you go, hey, go reserve me a site. Well, now I know, but that was a archaic reservation system type. You call a family member, they go. Now those individuals will be able to book ahead, knowing they're coming to this area, maybe new to them. They may find it, oh, I really like this area. I want to start a business here or bring my family here. So there are, like Joe said, positives and negatives depending on who's reviewing it.
Yeah.
Concern was brought to my attention, so I said I'd bring it up.
We've heard
Thank
it.
Yes. Anything else?
I'll say a lot of times I decide Tuesday morning that I'm gonna camp this weekend and.
And there'll be
so
those
it's,
available,
you
right?
know,
First come,
yeah.
first
Yeah, I
served.
mean,
You'll have all
And
them
that-
ones across the road.
yeah.
The plan,
Great.
the plan right
Where I
now,
wanna be.
the plan right now is to do half of each park. So 30 at Solberg and 15 at Smith and do it that way. And I guess it's gonna be a little bit of a trial and error that first year and see what works and what we'll hear what people don't like.
Right.
So,
Well, we also talked about, I can't remember who brought up the vacancy and extra sites. And we talked about longer reservations where you could park something there a little longer, giving them more, instead of, what is it, 2 weeks you have to move, or 28 days. So there's some other opportunities that if we're not filling everything on the other side of the road, that we can open it up to different types of campsites.
All right, let's move on to Lower Steve Creek flowage update.
They completed the survey work and began their report for the design alternative analysis. Basically, the guy said he should have everything in and approved by the end of the year, kind of thing, is what he was kind of hoping for, and then ready. He said usually February is a good time to bid those kind of projects out. So that's kind of where we're sitting there.
All right. Any questions about that one? Michelle, I guess we kind of forget about you online. If you have anything, speak up.
I'm good. I'm still here.
Okay, good.
I assume you said bid on that and I didn't even think anything about it. When will the bids go out for Solberg for all the dirt work? Do we know on that?
Basically, I'm waiting on the permit stuff. It's
Okay.
taking a lot longer.
Sure,
than
sure.
what it-
But we'll put a whole bid packet together for that too to submit, and
Yes.
anybody that's local or non-local wants to bid.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything on.
But the
any-
tentative plan for that is next summer.
Yeah, and even if we get stuff back, it'd be nice to get some of the stumping type stuff
Sure.
done this
This
fall
winter.
yet, but we'll probably run out of time. So
Sure.
anything on when it comes to grant money, anything over $5,000 has to be bid out. So it's you're basically have to put it in the paper for anything over $5,000. So
Sure.
it's, makes for a lot of extra work because $5,000.
Is that something that we can change in the ordinance, or is that a state
The
thing?
state.
Is it?
state
Okay, I wasn't sure.
system. We
Sure.
have requested
Yeah.
as one of
I
our.
mean,
We did
especially
a
nowadays with-
Resolution requesting that, didn't we?
Well, we did something with
To raise
for-
it to 25.
for
Yeah.
work, yeah, but
Yeah, and I can't remember, but I think WCA, so they took it on as part of their docket. They knew this was something they want to change because this isn't, imagine bigger areas, they
No.
try to buy a picnic table and it's over $5,000. We requested 25. I want to say the state is looking at 50.
sure.
So hopefully in the next 18 years, we'll change that.
18 years.
All right. Lower Steve Creek shooting range. Do we have any activity there?
I did apply for 2 grants, an NRA one and one through the DNR. So in those timeline, I'm not sure when we'll hear back on those. Thinking in the next 6 months.
And that the Sportsman's Club down there is going to be the matching person for that, or
Somewhat.
somewhat?
Yeah.
That came out of the Sportsman's Club out of
The request.
Taylor
So
County
they have
or
some,
whatever.
yes.
Yeah.
They have some matching funds. Some of that, the match would be our labor, yeah,
Sure.
equipment.
Would we try to base it off of the one on Aspen or similar, or let us scale it down a little bit?
Similar, a little bit scaled down.
Sure.
You know, not
Sure.
but similar. There's certain things that you have to do no matter what you
Yeah.
you do, safety wise, and
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, that one on Aspen is very nice.
It is.
Turned out very, very nice. And I'm not even much of a shooter, like, but a couple times I go there, it's sure is handy, and kids got to go to the bathroom or something. It's nice to have that there. Does Julie say, does that stay fairly clean?
people so far, people have been pretty respectful.
Okay, good.
Usually that's, we try to keep a nice clean facility. People typically respect it a little bit more. So
Other than they got a shoot the fire number sign out there. I mean, you got the whole shooting range there, and oh, let's shoot the fire number.
yeah, the shooting down the road I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Not to bring up a bad subject in that, but it is, that shooting range across the road. Like Cranberry Creek flowage, we never hear anything on that
Well,
permit
that's-
anymore.
That's where we were talking about. So earlier was the engineer that was designing that might end up being something where it's going to be an undoable project just because of cost. It kind of, so the way that thing was designed originally is different than the water flows now, mainly due to there's an outlet from Cranberry Lake that comes into that. And that water's all got to be, all that water could potentially come down through there. So then your primary structure has to flow that, and might become where it's too big for a whistle tube. And if it's too big for a whistle tube, the price really shoots up. So it'd be a significant type of deal. So we'll see what it comes back. The engineer that's supposed to be doing the work is very slow at getting work done. It's email and call, and so at a certain point, I guess if headway isn't made there, we're gonna have to hire somebody else. It just, you hire somebody and they have work into it, you'd like them to complete their work. So
Well, maybe at that time we can go to the Cranberry Marsh folks and see if they're willing to donate a little bit to the project.
they've been,
Since
We're-
they
we're
control
on,
the price.
We're on year 4 of 0 budget, so
they've
let
been,
me know how
they've
that
been,
goes.
they've been accommodating as far as letting us get in there to measure stuff, and cause we have to get sizing on outlets. And
I think the
whatever.
engineer forgets there's a lot of area of groundwater that runs there as well.
Right.
That's some of the miscalculation.
Well, and originally the way they designed it, some of those calculations have changed the way they do things. Again, the failure wasn't due to the amount of water; it was due to a rusted out tube on that one.
Yeah.
But that's just the way state statute is now. everything's dealt with in a different way since the Lake Delton went out, so.
Yeah. All right, department update and financials. We did the vouchers already, so.
We had we had recertification audit for FSC and SFI, which is our third party certification body. This was a full recertification is what it was called. So they look at their whole principle and basically they do a little bit in the office, but then it's a field audit where we take them to timber sales and then we review what went on and they walk the site and go through the whole thing. That really took a lot of time, prep time and just amount of paperwork back and forth and whatever it was. Those are usually pretty taxing. Good thing is they only happen every 7 years. So we did have a clean audit, which is pretty good, I guess. So that was a good thing coming out of that. That was in early August. Tim's Hill, we poured concrete and got that pretty much done. Did their landscaping last week, and we have one electrical project that just got to get taken care of, and then that grant will be completed and will be under budget on that one is quite a bit. So other than that, a lot of normal park stuff, getting trails mowed now, and a lot of time into the different projects, I guess, as far as when you're doing all the bids for all these things, it takes a lot of time. So
How many jobs you got going, if any?
Couple. Yeah, the Whittler's finished one and well, almost finished. They moved out because market, they couldn't move the certain type, so they had to move out for their last patch. But we have a couple other guys kind of picking away at stuff. So, but slow summer overall. But it is starting to dry out a little bit now, better. But it was a wet summer for trying to get anything done. If you didn't have gravel going to your job, you weren't going to get it done. So
We're significantly behind in our stumpage.
yeah. We're at I think in the voucher there was
590 something.
Yeah, we're at 40. I thought it was 42%, which again we'll probably gain a couple 100,000 before the end of the year, and it depends on December how that plays out. So hopefully we have a busy winter. The big thing that hurt us on this year was February. Road postings in February just kill, because February, early March, February's really our biggest month.
A lot of wood gets moved then, and it didn't get moved this year because of that.
And I think the mills weren't giving any contracts to get rid of wood until just recently now, when all of a sudden they weren't getting any wood. And now they're, hey, bring us wood, and guys are struggling.
Yeah.
So
no, it's a combination of multiple things there. Weather, mills are tight, so. And we were high a couple of years in a row, so you're bound to have the years where people cut in other places too.
So I guess this question was posed to me when the markets are down and you can't get rid of wood, and we're already way behind on this MFL land that needs to be cut. What's going to happen with that? I mean, where do you, in your opinion, where do you think the state is going to go with, there's not enough people to cut the MFL or?
Yeah, that'll be a state issue, but I mean, that's one of those things where I think under that program, if they're attempting to get it cut, they're
gonna be okay.
Yeah. And it's everyone's run different, like we talk about the carbon credit stuff. Some of these bigger landowners, if you're in large MFL, they can have their own plan and nobody has oversight on those. And those people are selling carbon credits but aren't required to cut because they have their own plan. So there's some loopholes in the system they'll have to
Yeah,
look at
that
eventually. So,
Northwoods, just the big chunk that was south of, on the southern end of the county there, that just sold to a carbon credit company,
mhm,
exclusively.
yeah.
So,
Oh, an update on that, carbon credit stuff that, nothing really to update on our end of things. I think our stuff is supposed to be out to market, but, Bayfield did have a pretty big sale, covered most of the cost of the setup and whatever. I think that was around $1 million or something I heard, so, but that's the only one I've heard of, so.
okay, any other questions for Joel? Or the department in general? None being heard? We will adjourn. Thank you. Thanks, Michelle.
Yubbers.